My hot take is that secretly, most GRC leaders are looking for the easiest external auditors to do the audits, issue the SOC 2 report, the ISO certs, and to make customers happy. Nobody's going to publicly say it. They're all going to say, yeah, we look for partners that'll help up-level our program, provide real business value, blah, blah, blah. But in actuality, all organizations, small, medium, or large, they just want auditors to do the thing the easiest way, then get out of the way. Thanks, see you again next year and don't change your bar, right? Nobody wants to hire the super auditors who's going to leave no stone unturned and go in 1,000 feet deep, testing every control. There you go.
You know what? You're right. And I think that's actually something that I agree with that, but I think it's probably less nefarious than it sounds because it's like a sales process. Like I don't think a lot of people understand that like when you choose an auditor, yes, it's an independent relationship and the guy's coming in there, guy or girl's coming in to evaluate you, but you're paying for it and you're paying a lot of money for it. And it's pretty expensive. So you shop around and you talk to them and you figure out their procedures, their policies, and you're trying to find a partner that will work best for you. And it's like that's the reality. Like it's a sales process, and in the sales process, you try to find the best deal. And it's the same with auditors. And I actually used to, I wonder what your take is on this. As you said that, I had a question, a thought. I used to say that it's not on the auditors to get more technical. It's on the companies to ask those questions during the sales process. Do you think that's like the opportunity for some of these things to improve, like all the shit talking that goes on about SOC 2 and whatnot? Do you think it just has to come down to that procurement process where now companies are like, hey man, how do you handle AWS stuff? And if you don't answer it right, you're going to lose the deal.
So I know you're a big proponent on automation and kind of evolving, audit, like how audit
Yeah.
evidence is secured and like just assurance signals in general, right? But I think, th this is where I'll kind of challenge you a little bit. I think everybody on the GRC side, on the security side, GRC engineering is going down that route, which is the right route to go to from an internal perspective, right?
Yeah.
But my question is, auditors have been testing the same way for like 3 decades at least, right? They're just scratching the surface. Are they going to be ready to go on that journey with you, or are they still going to be dragging their feet? And what does that mean? What does that mean? Like your automation sounds great, but if that still doesn't make your audits easier, then I would argue that you would just continue status quo, let them ask for the things that they ask for that are easily pulled, get them out of your hair, and then you're done. You still have all the great stuff internally for your internal assurance bar, which should be high, right? But like all the automation stuff, like they're gonna need to audit the automation. It's new. They're gonna be asking questions. They're gonna be walkthroughs like to death, right? Is that making the audit easier to get through? Or did you just like do the same stuff that they've done for like the past few years? They're done. Everybody knows what it is. And then you have that, right? Behind the scenes internally, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think one, no, it's not making the audit easier initially because, and I think I said this on like the qualified opinion one time or a conversation with Dixon where most auditors, and I would think most auditor auditee relationships would rather do an inefficient way that they're comfortable with versus a more efficient way that they have to now rework processes. And that's, again, I don't think that's an audit thing. I think that's a natural human thing. If I have a known way of doing something, I'm going to do it. It's like that's humans like familiarity. So, and I'm experiencing it now where like we built some automation. The first time we ran through it with the pilot system, and the auditors, it actually slowed the audit down. It actually slowed the audit down. And the difference is that we're doing something that's across like 120 plus AWS accounts. So we're going on a very long journey with these auditors. So they're bought into the long-term vision. However, it has been frustrating for me, the guy on the other end building the automation and running the engineering team, because we built some really cool stuff where we're automating 141 controls, collecting evidence from AWS on a regular basis, storing it in an audit manager. We've integrated this with GitLab and are pulling in CI/CD findings, mapping those controls. And then the auditors are like, so can you explain the JSON to me? And I'm like, it's JSON. You just read it. Like, and it's like, but I have to meet them to your point. You have to meet them where they are. So we had to now write some Lambda functions that generate reports that put it, and we literally named this Lambda function auditor friendly report. And it's like, we got to put it in this format that they're used to. So I think the onus is, again, not on the auditors. I think the auditors are going to do what makes the most sense for their business. I think right now there is a pressure for them because there is pricing pressures, there's fees pressures, and a lot of PE money in these audit firms that are saying you need to move all this work to India or you need to use AI to make it a lot cheaper because you're not growing at the rate that you used to grow. So they're going to have to come along at some point, but I think it's on the internal engineering teams to say if I want my audit to be more in depth, more secure, like get me more of a security benefit, I'm gonna have to do a lot more engineering work to get my auditors
Yeah.
there. And it's just the reality. To your point, like it's not easier at first, but it has to be the long game. And I think I'm big on, I don't think the top 20 firms of this world, I used to work at one, are going to be the ones that enter us into this new era of auditing. I think it's going to be
I
a new
agree.
player. I think there's going to be a new, and there was a firm that just started by some former EY, PwC guys, a guy and girl that are starting in London that literally they just took $300 million of PE money and they're saying they're building the professional services firm of the future, AI powered. I think it's going to have to be those type of guys and girls that are going to take the industry because it's too hard to change these. And it's not just the people, it's the business model. The business
Yeah.
models do not support automation. It's against it takes away money from them. So yeah, I think you're right. Like I know it was kind of like a potential challenge, but I'm like I agree. I think it's more work on the engineering side internally to do it, and the benefit is not there in year one.
Yeah. You said something about eventually it's on like the GRC teams to say, hey, to bring them along and say, hey, like we want you to go deeper and provide some more real value to like I disagree, right? I think external auditors, the objective and the purpose of them for a lot of companies is to issue the cert so sales can do their thing.
Right.
I still do not believe at this point, based on the bar they're operating at, I do not believe we're going to get real business value and like, just up leveling our program from their work, even if they kind of snap to the automated, evolved kind of way of evidence and controls and testing controls. Even that, even then, I still see them as like, go do the thing that we want you to do, which is to issue our certs.
Yeah.
Internal advisors, like, I don't more technical kind of like teams to help do the internal stuff. I still like GRC if there's a deep bench, right?
Yeah.
That has that technical capability. I think all the real stuff, that's like has substance, not just scratching the surface,
Yeah. Yeah.
is done by those teams. Like to me, I still see external auditors as like that. That's an external. They serve a purpose. I want that project or that process or that audit every single year to just be easy, right? And get out of here. Right.
I mean, your viewpoint aligns with something that Dixon believes that he thinks external audits go away in the future. If we do all of this automation where we're getting true security value, and I think like a lot of times we think about automation is just to collect evidence. For me, when I think about GRC automation and GRC engineering, it's how do I ensure I'm doing the secure things when I'm supposed to be doing them consistently, and how can I prove that? And it's less about like the control and evidence. It's like, okay, I'm supposed to be deploying secure changes. I care a ton about these type of software vulnerabilities. Am I
Yep.
doing that in the CI/CD pipeline? Cool. Can I prove it? And I think if we get to a world where that's repeatable, and this is Dixon's viewpoint, I don't know if I necessarily agree with it. I think to your point, there does, and I don't know what the answer is, because there gets a world where, let's say we do automate all this stuff again, the role of the external auditor is not to make you more secure, it's to issue you a cert, and you're 100% right about that. And that cert is to go drive business value, it's for you to go make money. So I don't know, like do external auditors need to change their why to be more valuable, or and if that's how they preserve themselves and preserve their future? Because we're going to go to a world where instead of company A saying, "Hey Grammarly, I need your SOC 2," it's company A says, "Hey Grammarly, here's my RFP agent to go talk to your compliance agent that knows all your stuff." And it's like, well, why do you need an external auditor to validate that? And to
Yep.
your point, if their only value is issuing this cert to drive sales, that to me puts them at a huge risk, because in this future world, if I can just talk to the data and know like, okay, you have these things, I can review policies, my agent can go through basically the audit that your SOC 2 would have. Why do I need somebody to issue me this thing? So that's why I think you're right, but I think that puts the auditors at risk in this future world. Like they have to figure out a way to add value beyond just
For
giving
sure.
me a sales thing because I'm going to figure out how to do sales without it. That's where all these trust centers and all this other stuff is coming up because they're trying to figure out a way to just say like, all right, yeah, you can still download the SOC 2, but I'm showing you all their controls. I'm showing you
Yeah.
all their policies. I'm showing you all of these things. Why do you need to download the report? And I think I saw a report on a trust center that most people that visit trust centers don't download the SOC 2s. They just look at the trust center. So it's like we're already starting to go to this world. So it's like, I think you're right. It's interesting because I think most auditors would disagree with you. I think most auditors think more highly of themselves that they're adding a ton of value beyond this. But the reality is for you and people that are working at these companies, it's like, bro, I just need you to come in here, be as
Yep.
least disruptive as possible. Don't
Yep.
mess up and have me have to go talk to my COO about why the auditors were doing crazy stuff to my engineers. Just do this,
Yep.
get out of the way, and give me my cert. That's it.
Correct. Correct. Couple reactions to kind of, what you all said. First of all, I think there's a lot of maybe over optimistic feelings about what automation and AI is going to do. I think there's always going to be need to be an independent auditor, like an independent audit team auditing the automation, auditing the AI. Like you can't just blindly trust just because it's AI, just as automation, whatever. Like you still can't trust it because you got to have that independence, right? Of like checking and validating.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like GRC teams will probably be slash, they'll be smaller or anything, but I think there still will need to be the checking and the validation of the because it like I see a world where everybody's like over betting, on all the stuff, and then it falls apart, and they're like, oh shit, like it was never checked. It was all like just a facade, like we got to check these things. So I think that's one thing. The second thing is I think just TPRM, like the state of TPRM right now today is very loose, right? It's very like just, oh, you got a stock report. Okay, all right, check the box, right? Until we get to a point where there is that kind of data transfer, data transparency, where you can actually see high quality and reliable signals, then yeah, then maybe, like the audit world is gonna get flipped upside, and they don't really need it because like you already know what you care about. You can filter all the
Right.
stuff you don't care about and just go to stuff you care about. But again, I still think it needs to be audited, right, in some
Yeah,
way or
that's where
another.
all those new ISO AI governance certs are coming up. And I think they're not getting a ton of traction. I think I saw something like there are like 70 or 80 companies that have 42,001 or whatever right now. And then I think I just saw David post another AI. I think you're right. There's going to be more AI governance, which is just funny because we're just shifting the audit. Like it's just
It's
it's just a new audit. Like to your point, it's like I think there's always these tech hype cycles, right? Like, oh, cloud's going to change the world. This is going to change the world. And I'm a tech junkie, so I buy into all of them. But like I know it's never like as peachy as what everybody's saying and what I even believe. I'm hoping that it's right. But I do think you're right. There's going to be governance on the AI, which now becomes a cert, which now becomes an external audit, which now becomes a whole function of things that you have to do, and it just evolves.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, full transparency, David and Mastermind issued the 42